The purpose of this video is to show you how to multiply using the lattice method. It is meant to go in conjunction with my next video, which is going to be how to use lattice to help you multiply decimals. But since I haven't done a video on multiplying with lattice yet, I might as well do one and show you how you can do it for whole numbers as well. So lattice is kind of a grid. You start off with a box. There's our box, and this is going to be the part of our lattice. Now, we are going to be dividing this box up into smaller squares or rectangles, and that's going to depend on what we are multiplying. So let's start off with something simple. Let's start off with, say, 24 times 6. Now, I can put either of these numbers, 24 or 6, on the top or on the side. It's not going to affect our answer because we have the commutative property of multiplication, which says the order does not matter. So, just for how I want to do it, I'm going to put 24 on top, and I'm going to put 6 on the side. Since I have two digits up top, I'm going to draw a line between them, basically separating them between their place values, 4 in the ones, 2 in the tens. Since I only have one digit on my right side, I'm not going to separate the box any smaller. The last thing I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to draw diagonals going through the box, like this. And this is our setup for lattice. Now you'll notice, by drawing those diagonals, I've created triangles inside of our box. It's very important to understand how these triangles work. This triangle, the bottom triangle, is where you place your ones place value. This triangle, the top triangle, is where your tens value goes. Now you might be asking yourself, where do we get these ones? Where do we get these tens? And this is where we start multiplying. We've broken these down into smaller pieces, 2 and 4 instead of 24, so that we can base our multiplication off of our basic multiplication facts. Makes it a lot easier as opposed to trying to figure out in your head, oh, what's 24 times 6? We can do it 6 times 4 and then 6 times 2. So with that in mind, let's start our multiplication. With starting the multiplication process, first we take the number from the side and we multiply by one of the numbers up top. So I'm going to start with that 4. What is 6 times 4? Hopefully you know the answer is 24. So how does this work? Well, as I said, the bottom is for the ones place, the top is for the tens. So if I get the answer 24, 4 is in the ones place, and 2 is in the tens. So we have our 24 right here, but we've also split it up into ones and tens. Now, we take the other number from the top, 2, and we multiply it by the 6. 2 times 6 is 12. So, we can then put in our places here 2 for the ones place and 1 for the tens place. So we've now successfully done all of our multiplication. 6 times 4 got us 24, 6 times 2 got us 12, and now we can get our final answer. To get that, we take each column, or I should say diagonal, each diagonal and add them together. So first we have 4. There's no other numbers on this diagonal. So the answer here will just be 4. With our next diagonal here, separated by these green lines, we have a 2 and we have another 2. So we add those together. 2 plus 2 is 4. And then lastly, we now take the 1 all the way over here. It's all by itself in this diagonal as well. So 1 plus nothing is 1. And these numbers on the outside are the product of 24 times 6. So that means 24 times 6 is 144. This may seem like a complicated process, but if you give it a try, you'll actually more than likely find it really enjoyable. So let's try a different one. For this next example, we're going to go even bigger. Now we're going to try to multiply 245 times 9 using lattice as well. So just like last time, start off by drawing your rectangle. And we are going to put our top number. I'm using the bigger number. It really doesn't matter, but I think it works easier this way. Take the bigger number, put that on top. So I'm going to put 245 up top. I'm going to put the 9 on the right side. And then just like last time, I'm going to separate our big number into its place values. So draw a line between the 4 and the 5. Draw a line between the 2 and the 4. So this time we're going to have 3 sections because we're going to have to multiply 3 different times. And then just like last time also, cut these diagonally so that we have bottom and top triangles. So now, if you followed along and you've written this down, feel free to pause the video and try to fill this out on your own. What's going to go where, and hopefully see if you get it right. If not, feel free to walk through it with me. We'll start off with multiplying 9 times 5, which is 45. So that's a 5 in the ones place and a 4 in the tens place. Now we can multiply the 9 times the 4, which is 36. 6 in the ones place, 3 in the tens place. And then we can do our final multiplication of 9 times 2, which is 18. So an 8 in the ones place and a 1 in the tens place. If you did this on your own and you came up with your lattice looking like this, awesome, nice job. This problem also has a double purpose though, to get us trying lattice with bigger numbers, but also to show us what do we do when our diagonal sums are equal to 10 or larger. Because we didn't have to do that in the last example. So let's start off with our diagonals. This 5 is all by itself, so it's just going to be 5. Now, if we add up this diagonal, we have 4 plus 6. Well, 4 plus 6 is 10, but we are not going to write 10 down here. That would be wrong. It doesn't make any sense, too, because this is a place value. We can't have 10 in just a single place value. So here's what happens. Just like in normal addition, we put the ones place down, and we carry the 1 up top to the next place value. And in this case, to the next diagonal. Because here's our 10, we got the 1 over here now, it's moved over, and the 0 went down here. So now we have 3 numbers to add in this diagonal, and that's okay. 1 plus 3 is 4, 4 plus 8 is 12, and we have that issue again. So just like last time, I can put the 2 down here, and I can carry the 1 up top. Now, this diagonal doesn't have just a 1, it's got a second 1, and we have to add those together. 1 plus 1 is 2. So we have our answer then of 245 times 9 is equal to 2,205. How are you feeling about this so far? Hopefully, it's starting to click. You're finding it to be not terribly difficult, which means we're going to try something a little tougher next. For our final example in this video, I'm going to multiply 47 times 36. Now, notice, in the other videos, or the other examples, we had a double or a triple digit, but then we had a single digit factor over here. Now we've got double digit factors for both of them. It's going to change how our lattice grid looks, but not how it works. So let's start by drawing our box, just like we have in all of the other examples. I like to take the first number that's bigger and put it on top. It really doesn't matter though, but I'm still going to do it that way. So I'll write 47 up here, and then I'll take the 36 and I'll write that on the side, up and down. Now before, we just would split it into two boxes because separating our place values, the ones and the tens. But now we've got different place values over here. So we actually have to split the box this way as well. So instead of having two rectangles, now we have four. We still change our boxes into diagonals. Look how much this goes through. Ooh, it goes through all of that one, and then there. So now we have four boxes that are split into triangles for our ones place and our tens place. And that's great, because now we can start our multiplication. It doesn't matter which number you start with, the 3 or the 6, but we're going to do our multiplication just like before. So let's start with the 3. We'll do 3 times 7. 3 times 7 is, that's right, 21. 1 in the tens place, or sorry, 1 in the ones place, 2 in the tens place. Now we can multiply 3 times 4, which is 12. 1 in the tens place, 2 in the ones place. With our first example, this is where we stopped. But notice we've got another number down here. So we're actually going to do the multiplication process again. This time though, multiplying 6 times 7, and then 6 times 4. So 6 times 7 is 42, so that's a 2 in the ones and a 4 in the tens. And then 6 times 4 is 24, so that's a 4 in the ones and a 2 in the tens. Our grid is completely filled out, so now it's time to get those diagonal sums. Start all the way on the bottom right hand side. We just have a 2. So the sum of that diagonal is 2. Now we move over to the next diagonal here. 1 plus 4 plus 4 is 9. So we can put that as the sum of this diagonal. Move over, and now we've got 2 plus 2 plus 2, or 2 times 3. So that sum is going to be, well, 6. And then lastly, we have the 1 all by itself, so we get 1. So 47 times 36 is equal to 1,692. And you can make lattice grids as big or as small as you need them to be in order to multiply this way. Now, if you wanted to do a third one, or a 3-digit up top and a 3-digit down below, that's fine. You'll just end up having 9 of these separate boxes, and that's fine. You just have to make sure that you are being careful when you're adding your diagonal sums, and if you get a sum that is bigger than 10, or I should say 10 or bigger, don't forget to carry into the next diagonal like we did in example 2. I hope you found this video on lattice useful. Don't forget to check out the next video, which is going to be using this lattice method right here to multiply decimals. Subscribe if you haven't, and have a good day.